Hey everybody, Kevin from XP3 here, and I just want to make you a quick little video about a little project that we're going to have going on here in the near future. A friend of mine gave me a nice little present lately, and I just wanted to share it with y'all, and it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. Let's check it out. And what do we have here but a Neo Geo cabinet? Now, this isn't a legit Neo Geo cabinet, this is actually a conversion cabinet. I asked around on a couple arcade boards, and this appears to be either a dynamo. Actually, no, wait, I'm sorry, it's not a dynamo. It's a Data East cab, according to some arcade people that I talked to, which is a fairly common arcade machine, and it's been set up for use on the Neo Geo MVS system, which is just Neo Geo's arcade setup. From the looks of it, it's in fairly good shape, but it's going to need a fair bit of work. So let's take a look around and see what sort of deals we're looking at here in terms of making a project out of this thing. All right, starting at the top, we're looking at the Marquee here. All things considered, it looks pretty darn solid. There's a little scuff in the corner right here, some of the vinyl overlay. It's printed on the backside, might be peeling away. So I might try and get some paint to match that, hopefully. I haven't had a chance to peek behind here and see if there's a light set up, but from everything I've seen, it looks like it's wired to light up. So we'll just have to check that out once we get into the meat of the insides here. Going down to the monitor bezel, we got some chips and cracks in the corner there. So we're gonna need to replace this bezel. I might swap it out for a black overlay to blend in with the rest of the cabinet better. With a Neo Geo cabinet, the sides are red and the entire front, top, and back are black anyway, with the exception of the Marquee. So swapping to a black overlay for the monitor might work better. Moving down to the control panel, this is another indicator that this isn't an official MVS setup. As you can see, the buttons are kind of in an L shape here, whereas on an actual MVS system, they're supposed to be a sweeping curve. And that's going to be due to the width of the cabinet. It's too narrow to be able to fit an actual MVS overlay in there. Moving further down, looks like the right and left player vinyls are really worn. Checking the buttons out. They click okay. I might replace these with some fresh buttons though anyway. Joysticks feel okay. They have a little bit of play in them, but we might swap those out for a different style. Looking at the acrylic overlay here, you can see the bolts from where they tighten down on the underside. There's some cracking going on and it looks fairly worn. So we're gonna have to replace that. The vinyl overlay itself, there's quite a few chips in it, and the white on the Neo Geo overlay is really yellowed. So we're gonna swap that out. Now moving down towards the coin box here. Everything looks to be in pretty good shape here. I'm not sure if the coin mechanism still works. It's not gonna be very important, as that's something I'm not really gonna be utilizing in my home anyway. The oddity here is the speaker. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We got like, I don't know if it's a 16 by 9, I don't know what size speaker that is. But as you can see behind it, there's a square cutout. It looks like someone modified it to put a speaker in here, which is really odd because if we move back up and look on the underside, we got speaker mounts up here anyway, wired for stereo. And I checked and there are a couple speakers up in there, so I don't know why there's a third speaker in here. So this guy's probably gonna get removed and filled in, because I don't think there's any way you can wire like a 2.1 setup in an older arcade cab. So we're gonna have to look at that. As far as coin boxes go, everything's in fairly good shape. I'm probably gonna get these repowder coated just so they're all a nice fresh finish. And my friend that gave me this cab, the cam locks for the doors themselves, fortunately I can reach in the back and get them opened, but he lost the keys to these. So if I want to keep things locked up, I'm gonna have to get new cam locks for everything, so we can seal the system up and prevent anyone from messing with it. So that'll do it for the front here. Everything looks pretty good. Some stuff we have to replace, quite a lot we gotta fix up. All right, moving on to the right side here. You can definitely tell it's been repainted at least a few times. The paint's pretty thick, and I don't even know what's laying underneath. With people saying it's a Data East cab, I wonder if there's some sort of Data East print art laid on the side here. Looking down below, on the cab, you can see there's some damage to the particle board. So we're gonna try and file that away, smooth it out, make it nice and flat and solid. We're gonna strip all this paint off, see what's underneath for one, and then we're gonna give this a nice red coat of paint. I searched on the neogeo.com forums, and there is a red that matches this MVS red almost perfectly. So we're gonna see if we can get our hands on that paint and paint that up with that. And as far as the black goes, I'm probably just gonna use like a nice semi-gloss black. Looking at the front, again, sorry, it kind of ties into the sides. You can see the T-molding here that protects the edges of the wood. That stuff's all worn and chipped away. So we're gonna get some brand new T-molding all along for this thing. You can see there's some missing here. It's supposed to go in these slots here. But we're gonna get all new T-molding to go along these edges here so we can really sharpen this guy up. Moving over to the other side, you can see it's the same story as the other side. Heavy paint, been repainted at least a couple times over the years, and then we got some wear on the bottom sides there that need patched up and filled in. So we're gonna check out that stuff too. All right, I got smart and turned the lights on because now it's time to look in the back here and see just what we're dealing with. Now, looking at the back stickers here, it does say Atari, but it also says Data East. So I'm kind of curious which came first. Because if we look underneath the control panel, you'll see something that kind of indicates that it might have been something related to Atari too. But looking at the back panel here, it's the same story as the sides. A lot needs filled in, stripped, painted. On top of that, all the screws that hold this back panel in, they're kind of worn away. So we're gonna see if we can fill them and re-drill some new screws in just to help things out a little bit with holding this panel on. This guy's also gonna get a new cam lock too. Now, fun part, looking at the guts. We got ourselves a Wells Gardner 19-inch monitor in here, which is a good thing because Wells Gardner is what the actual SNK Neo Geo machines used. My friend did indicate that this needs a cap kit because the picture is pretty wavy and isn't very good. So we're gonna clean this guy up. We're gonna get a new set of caps for this thing and we're gonna repair it and make it all nice and shiny and new. Looking at the wiring in here, it's a little bit of a mess. We're gonna see if we can straighten this up a little bit just to clean things up in here. Moving on down, we got the back side of the control panel there. There's the back side of that mystery speaker that we were looking at. Coin box looks like it's wired up okay. These buttons are kind of concerning me. They're just kind of floating on a piece of cardboard here, and I actually got kind of a chuckle out of that when I first looked at it. So what these are is, if I can see it from here, a test button and a credit button. So you just tap the test button to test the system out, and the credit button obviously gives you more credits. So we're gonna see if we can mount those on a different piece of wood, something more sturdy. And moving down the line here, we also got the main motherboard, which is in pretty good shape, but I'm curious as to why it's mounted vertically, because the Neo Geo system, as you can see here, it's meant to take cartridges. So why you'd have a cartridge hanging off with gravity pulling it down, putting pressure on the actual socket board itself is kind of beyond me. I don't know why it's doing that. So we're gonna see if we can remove all this, maybe get a board going horizontally so we can mount the motherboard and these buttons on there and get them permanently affixed in the right position. Hopefully closer to the coin door so we can just open the coin door and swap things out if we need to. We got our power units right there. Let's see, I want to say, oh gosh, I'm probably gonna get crucified for this, a transformer and a rectifier. And we got a switcher up there, which looks like that is wired up to both the monitor. I want to say there's wires running out to the speakers too, so it looks like it kind of routes the power a little bit. You'll have to kind of forgive me, I'm fairly new to the arcade scene, so I only have some passing knowledge on stuff, but I'll be doing my research before we really get started here. And we got our power cord laying in there. Looks like there's no frame, it's just kind of dusty and dirty. So we'll clean that up too. Let's check out the underside of the control panel. Be right back. All right, now earlier I mentioned that this may have been a machine used for another purpose at one point in time. And what sticks out to me is this little guy right here. That's a Clax overlay. So this might have been used for an Atari game at some point in time. I was kind of curious if they just laid a vinyl right over it. Now looking at the buttons, we got, like I said, everything looks fairly straight, but we're gonna get some fresh new buttons for this, maybe some Sanwas or something along those lines. Probably the same thing for the sticks too. We'll get some sticks that'll be all nice and fresh and tight. And the control panel itself, as you can see, it's got a fair amount of surface rust on it. So we're gonna take this guy and get it powder coated. And I forgot to mention, for the motherboard itself, we're gonna get a cover for that. They provided a cover along with the motherboard when we bought it, but this one's missing for some reason. And we are gonna get that powder coated too, just to make everything all nice and shiny. All right, so we got ourselves a fun little project here. It needs a little bit more work than I was kind of hoping it would, but I mean, considering it was free, I really can't complain too much, obviously. Plus, it's not really in that bad shape. I've seen arcade cabinets that are a lot worse off than this. So the gist of it is gonna be repainting the cab. We're gonna touch up some things here and there, get new buttons, powder coat the metal parts. We're gonna get some work on the motherboard done, reroute the wiring, and we're gonna get a little board in there to mount the motherboard properly, make sure it's secure and doesn't have any wear and tear on it more than it needs to. So yeah, we're gonna get to work on this hopefully soon. Hope you stick around for the series and enjoy it.